Hello, Merry Christmas, everyone. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm sure go tell everyone you know it's time for our live. Today, we're going to be getting something exciting, something different, something you're going to want to be a part of. Go tell everybody that you know. Yay! Grip by Grace, you're the first joiner today. Welcome. And yes, our guest is joining us live. Hi, Ify. Hi. Oh, wow. You guys are all on time. I love
Hi,
it. Hello.
hi everyone.
Hi. Hi. I hope you can hear me. I hope you
Hi.
can see
Merry
me.
Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas. Can you hear me, Ify?
Yep, I can. Can you hear me?
Okay, excellent. Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. So, Merry
Perfect.
Christmas. Yay, I'm excited. We're going good today. And Grip by Grace, you're the first joiner. So you get a gift, a Christmas gift. Congratulations.
Yay.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Ify, for joining us today. I know it's going to be an amazing day,
Thank
amazing
you too.
conversation. We can't wait. We've been planning it
Mhm.
for how many days now? Like, yes. We're going to have the amazing Ify Okafor live with us today. Our oh, please, everybody, just go and call your friends. Go and call your friends. Creative Expressions. It was the first name I saw that I called. What will I now do now? Hey, sorry, it's not you are joining on my own phone. I did not see you earlier. Okay.
Creative expression is like you did not celebrate your Christmas well because if you did, Holy Ghost fire, everything will be anointing you. They'll be seeing you first
I'll be
everywhere.
seeing him first. I did not see the person first. Sorry, I'm sorry. Merry Christmas. Call all your friends, but we're starting live in the next 2 minutes. If you know anybody that should be here and is not here, they should go and join. And if you are watching this replay and just joining us, then hello to you too. Merry Christmas to you. This is Ify and I
Merry Christmas.
coming live to you all the way from Lagos. We can't wait. Oh, was it? Now you did talk.
Yes,
Sorry,
we
sir.
know,
Now
we
not the
know.
first. Oh,
You don't know who is talking, brother. You know who is talking. You be treading cautiously. That's all. Boom.
wow. Well done, sir. You were the first. In short, you were the first, you are the last, everybody. All the positions belong to you. Welcome, everyone. Welcome again. So we just go right into it so we don't waste your time. We know it's Christmas season, it's family time. We just want to get right into the conversation for today and get you as much value as we can. So my guest today is the amazing Ify Okafor. If you know me, you don't know if you don't really know me. If you are in WGA, of course, you know
Like,
Ify. If you are
like,
not in WGA,
like.
if you are in TOCI, you know Ify. If you know me and you don't know
Please,
her,
doctor,
please.
doctor. I'm a doctor. They gave me a doctorate in TOP. Yeah.
We gave her doctorate in TOCI. So yes, Dr. Ify, because we speak things that
Mhm.
Abi, how does the Bible put it? I know they
Yes,
were not.
yes.
We speak.
We call them. We call it four.
We have Sha called it for our PhDs. So
Mhm.
Dr. Ify is live with Dr. Brenda.
Yes.
So today we're going to be
Mhm.
talking about goal setting, right? I know that the year is rounding up and most people are thinking about 2024. I mean, if you've not done as much as you wanted to do last year, we want to tell you to give yourself grace. First of all, celebrate life. You're alive. You've seen another Christmas. It's amazing. It's wonderful.
Brenda, 1 second, please.
Okay.
Just 1 second. I want
Okay.
to
No
get something.
problem. So you've been amazing. You've had an amazing year, regardless of what came your way. The other day I sat down, I was thinking about my year, the whole 2023. The first thing that came to my mind were all the things that went wrong, and I was thinking, this happened, this happened, this happened. And then when I sat down to reflect some more, I realized a lot of other very great things as well. I was like, oh wow, why is that the mind filters the not so pleasant and brings them to the fore? Unless we sit down and consciously reflect, we do not really remember the ones that went good because we almost like take them for granted. Oh, that happened. Oh, okay. if you're consciously keeping down your thoughts, consciously journaling your gratitude, you would have a lot to be thankful for at the end of the year. So just letting you guys know that you've done a lot, you've done amazing, you've done excellent this year. Those goals that you could not achieve, please carry them forward. Once you have life, you have hope. And today, we're going to be teaching you a foolproof way of making those goals, setting the right goals and making them come to pass. If you know me for long enough, you will see that I teach about goal setting a lot. You know, I talk about vision boarding and all of those kind of things because I just feel like my life changed when I first got that message. Like it was a 360 change. And I felt, no way, I can't keep this to myself. Everybody needs to hear it. And I started to share it as much as I could. I taught like thousands of people in free class all over the place. And I was like, you guys just need to hear this. This is a life-changing message. And today we're going to bring this same life-changing message to you with another spin. Did you hear our topic? Please look at it. It's pinned there, Imagineering. First of all, what do we call it? Now, I'll let Ify do the honors of introducing that part. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you. Look, we are here to shake some tables. We're here to blow your mind. Yes, we say it with our full chest because we were blown and impacted when we encountered this concept. And today we're talking about something called Imagineering. Mm-hmm. So imagine you're imagining and then you are an engineer or you are engineering and you now jam the two together. Oh, more. That's some serious things.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to type it quickly in the box, the chat, so that you get the word. You can always go read up on it. But by the time we are done, you might not even need to because we are going to do justice to that word.
Right.
So what exactly is Imagineering? It's imagination and engineering. Now, not engineering like all those people that spend 5 years in school. Yes, we know engineers. We give you all your kudos, take all your flowers, yes. But once you have to put anything together, right, it's called engineering. Mm-hmm. Now, that word has always existed, but the group that made it so common is the Disney group. I mean, if you've ever encountered any Disney anything, like Disney Park, Disney movies, they're always wow. Mm-hmm. They're always out of this world. Why? Because they start from their imagination and then they bring their imagination to life. And that is the concept of Imagineering. And so the question is, if a whole Disney has been surviving for decades on the concept of, like, everything they do, every single thing is around Imagineering. So that's why their things are always so amazing, so futuristic, so out of this world. Now the question is this. Let me ask some people some questions. Why won't you plan your life to be out of this world? Abby?
Okay.
It's one life you have. One life you have, and you have to live that life to the fullest, and you have to make it, you have to establish yourself. And the best way to go about it is start with the end in mind, and that is Imagineering.
Absolutely.
So for some people, they've heard this concept. Some are just going to hear it for the first time. But there's a concept which says, imagine your 70-year-old self. Not all those one sentence, two sentence Imagineering, no. Because exactly, most of us think about what we know, but we dream about what we don't know. And then we take our dreams and we just leave it in dream zone instead of bringing it into reality, you know? And so imagine your 70-year-old self. And what would that look like? You know? How would it feel? What kind of air would you be breathing? What kind of clothes will you be wearing? How would you be speaking? What would be your finances be like? Now, that's the dreamer portion of Imagineering. So take yourself, project yourself into the most magnificent future that you want, the one for you. Like, do you think you're going to be a grandma or a grandpa by then? Or yeah, look, I'm not done. I want to be corporate, or you, whatever. Dream about it in detail. I dare say, write it down. Like, write it down very well. Dream. Give yourself permission to dream. After all, it's your dream. It's your pen. It's your paper. There's no exam. What's limiting you?
There's no right or wrong.
Right? So dream. There's no right or wrong answer. You want to be the first person in space, put it down. That's the dreamer side of it. And then, so in Imagineering, we have three concepts. We have the dreamer, the realist, and the critic. You are going to be all three. Then the realistic part of you says, okay, this is iffy. I'm going into 2024. I'm a parenting and a wholeness coach. I do my 9 to 5 job. I do this. But when I'm 70, by the time I'm 70, I want to have maybe won a Nobel Peace Prize in family and tech orientation, something like that. The question now becomes, how do I get from iffy today to iffy of 70 years old, right? And that's the realist step. Now you're going to ask yourself, okay, I want to be a Nobel Prize winner. How many of us have Googled what we want to be in the future? Because I have that. A lot of people come in, oh, these are my dreams. Oh, by the way, as a wholeness coach, see a lot of people, talk about their dreams, their future plans. And one recurring thing is that a lot of people, when we get to those, their very big dreams, more often than not, those dreams are very big because they have never even gone to Google to say, how do you do A, B, C, D, E? You've not even asked, you've not done the realistic thing to say, what would it even take? You're so afraid and paralyzed by the dream. You haven't even considered it in your mind as something worth planning for. And so when you Google it, it's possible that it may not be achievable. It's possible that maybe the first step might take you 10 years, but hey, you're planning 20, 30 years in the future, so why not start? Right? Like, so why not start? You have time. That's what happens when you Imagineer. You buy yourself time. And then when you now start to write it down, okay, my first step is, let me establish myself as a global coach. What would it take? Oh, let me satisfy myself. Let me build my audience to this level. Let me do this. Let me do that. And then you ask yourself, yes, first step, dream. Just dream, unrestricted. Then you ask yourself, okay, what will I do in 2024? Okay, I know there's one certification course like that, so it's fantastic, but I don't have the money. How much will it cost me? I'll go and research. I'll say, okay, how many clients do I need to coach and get profit? Remember, it's your profit, not your operational cost, that will now allow me achieve this goal. That's the realistic part. So you ask yourself those realistic questions. And then the final part is the critic. So, critic, hi Yinka, I see you. The final part is the critic. Okay, do I really need this certification to make, to get that a prize? Am I equipped? Do I have the skills? What's my skill gap? What will happen if I don't win it? What will happen if I do? Who are those that are in my way? Or who are those that will elevate me? So you're thinking about your life like a project. What are the deal breakers? What are the things that are the wins? Who are my critical stakeholders? That's what you're thinking about. Now, why is this entire process important? After all, people are just going the end of the year, I'm going to do this next year, and they're still alive. Why is it important? Because when you decide what your future will look like, you take your future into your own hands. Again, this is not me saying you should play God, but to the extent to which you have some input, it's now in your control. It's now a path. So that when things are turning on their own and people are doing funny things, you know exactly where you're going. When people are here saying, let's go and watch that movie, you'll be like, you know what? If we can do that movie like Friday next week, I'll be available because this Friday I have to do A, B, C, D, E. You're no longer living a reactive life.
I want to interrupt you there because you said something very, very powerful. If you don't have where you're going, you would be blowing in every direction. It's the same way that, maybe our fathers and people in those days used to say that if you don't have a project you are doing, you'll be spending money anyhow. You know how our fathers were
Yes,
always doing one project
now.
forever.
Yes,
They're not building
now.
something
Yes,
so that
now.
they always know where all their funds are going to, because it just kind
Mhm,
of felt like if you don't have where your money is going to, there will be one problem from the village, somebody that will come and get it. In the same
Yep,
way, your time is even
yep,
more important than your money, because your time is your life,
yes,
literally. So if you do not have
yes,
time
exactly.
geared towards something, you don't have a specific plan, people will blow you wherever they want, and you will wake up at 70 one day and you would not have done anything, and you wonder, where did all the
Simple.
time go?
Exactly. Now let me blow your mind. Those people who are, using your time have planned their own time
Mm-hmm.
and are using yours
To improve
to
their,
achieve what they want in
oh
that season.
Jesus. I know. The
So
day
the
I found
question
this
is like,
out, the day I found this out, my life was forever changed. I'm a recovering people pleaser. I always wanted to help everybody. I'm the kind of person that felt like, oh, if you've come to me, I must be your last bus stop. I couldn't say no. Oh, I had to help you.
mhm,
What would
mhm,
Jesus do? And I was
mhm,
thinking, oh, I
mhm.
had to help everybody, because but that's not what Jesus did. Jesus did not always
No,
help everybody.
that's not what he did.
That's not what Jesus
And Jesus
did. Jesus,
knew he had 33
he did
years.
not
He
send,
knew.
he did not
We
send,
didn't know. He knew.
yeah, he didn't send you to do, you cannot help everybody. You have to be specific to whom you were sent. You remember the
Yeah.
woman that came to him, oh, please help. I just said, please, I must focus on the people to whom I
No,
was sent.
I'm here for, yes,
He
exactly.
was laser focused on what he had to do in the time that he had. So if we say that we're children of God, if we say that we're Jesus's disciples, what are we doing if we have no plan? If we have nothing we're working with?
No plan.
If we have
Don't
nothing we're working with?
forget that Jesus, even at
He knew what
12,
he was
they went to
doing.
temple.
The guy says,
He knew what he was
don't you know I'm in
doing.
my father's house?
Don't you
Oh,
know?
I can imagine
I mean,
you're
my father
barren
was
around
like,
like
hello,
that child.
you are parents of the Messiah. Where else were you expecting me to be?
What a child.
You see,
At
we read it
12.
with our human eyes, right? We read that passage with our human eyes. But Jesus knew that his parents knew who he was.
They went,
So that is why even his parents could not shout when he said, like, don't you know I'll be in my father's house? I don't have time. My time in this place is very limited.
he was following
And
the
just
plan.
started moving. Bam, bam. His mother said, turn water into wine. He said, madam, this is not the time.
Women will always be
But
women.
she pleaded.
Women have been
Yes,
women since.
now. Mothers will always be mothers. Pleaded, and he decided to adjust his plan because he had a plan to be adjusted. Because if he did not have a plan, right? When mommy said turn water into wine, I said, okay, yes, mommy, let's go.
Then tomorrow they will say turn wine back to water. He will come back again.
He returned it back.
But the guy
And so if we're children of God, yes, if we're children of God, we are his heirs. We are multi-potentialites like he is. Super talented with limited time and resources. You have no reason. You have no reason not to get your act together.
Absolutely.
Because again, Brenda, you know me, I say this everywhere. Dear whoever is listening, you are irreplaceable, unrepeatable, and you have been created for a very specific purpose.
Absolutely.
A purpose which if you do not fulfill, the world will never have it. At least not in that flavor or in that time and season. So the question is, and then you have, as your life goes, you have series of mini purposes, which will unlock your potential even further towards your ultimate purpose.
Absolutely.
Again, let's look at Jesus' life. Same. He preached to the Pharisees at 12. They were like, I'm a carpenter. You shall be like this. Then they started paying attention to him. And he kept elevating it, Sermon on the Mount, until the ultimate, which was his crucifixion. There's a build-up. If he did not take any of those steps, his crucifixion would have just been that crazy man that was just talking that we don't know. But he preached, he impacted, he followed a certain path. If you follow the Bible, you will realize that the pathway which Jesus followed to all those cities was not the straight path. He was intentional about the cities he was going to, because he had a path. So
And
in
another
your
part,
life,
another
when
part
you
that
have
blew
a
my mind with Jesus was, sorry to cut you, another part that blew my mind about Jesus' life was the fact that, even when he carried his disciples along with him, he was carrying them, he was teaching them, and he said to them, don't go yet, don't do anything yet, wait, wait and receive power, because he knew that there was a dimension of power that could not come until he had left, but there was a dimension that they needed to get from him. That was why they had to walk with him. And every time I think about it, it just blows my mind to see, like, because the things that those disciples, Peter, the day that Jesus was arrested, Peter was guy. I said, it's not Peter that, Peter is my favorite. I know Paul is your own, but Peter is my guy.
Now you're
So Peter is the guy that, Lord, is it you walking on water? Call me. He says, oh yeah, come. Peter starts to come, without thinking, he's going. The next thing, say, I'm thinking, and it goes down, because Peter never
I'm
really
actually
thinks.
a woman.
He never really thinks anything through, and immediately starts to fall. Immediately takes his eye off Jesus. Peter is the same guy who he wants to wash feet. He said, don't wash my feet. So why can't you wash my feet? A whole Lori Abi, Lord and Pastor. Sorry, sir. He says, no, I must wash my feet. Okay, in that case, wash my feet, my leg, my head, everything. Peter be coming down. It's not that deep. Okay, guys, I need to die. No, you must not die. You cannot die. I will not allow it. Peter, relax. Now, Peter was now there when he was being arrested. Peter was there washing hands and talking to the people. They said, you are the one. You are one of them. That's me. God forbid, it's not me. Immediately, Peter,
I don't know you people.
to a slave girl. This was not even in front of the judges or anybody. A bloody slave girl that could not do anything to him. He could not even stand. But the same Peter, by the time the Holy Spirit came upon him, was a changed person. Even his shadow was healing people.
He was the rock.
His shadow was healing people. I was like, come on.
Shadow.
So there are dimensions to these things. But before we digress, I want to pull you back, Ify. So I want to speak to somebody that is listening to us for the first time and thinking, this thing that they're saying, 70 years, me, I'm just 25. How would I think that far? Or some of us are like, okay, me, I'm 35. Well, it still looks like plenty. 35 years, how do I, me now, I'm 43. 70 is not very far like that, so I can't, so
it's not.
So what about, I mean, the first time I did this exercise, I was like, oh dear God, I immediately knew what I needed to do. I immediately, in all spheres, I immediately knew what to do. And that's why I encourage everybody, if you take nothing else from today's conversation, take this assignment, go and write down, sit down and ponder yourself in a room, prayerfully ask God to help you. Open your eyes to where he wants you to be. Because, we may begin to say, oh, think this, plan this. You're thinking, our life is in the hand of God. What are we doing? All our plans are useless before God. It's not said it. But guess what? God is the one who also promises you that he will give you the desires of your heart. Guess why? Because he places those desires in your heart. So if you don't bring anything to him, how will he help you? It's the same God who tells you that as far as your eyes can see is what I will give to you. What can you see? This is what we're asking you to do today. What can you see? This is an Imagineering.
Stretch your eyes and your imagination and see.
As far as your eyes can see. So if you please tell us, if I'm just 25 or I'm just 35 and I cannot see as far as 70, how do I do this?
So there's no hard and fast rule about 70. 70, why the number 70 was initially the ideal age was because it's imagined that at that point you have lived. You are now thinking of things you have already achieved. But if your life is in a position where it might not even be that you're too young, it might just be that a lot of things are happening right now. You just can't possibly think beyond a certain point. My advice, go 20 years in the future. I don't advise you go less because you need at least that padding. So I know you guys have heard this, right? But there's a reason why everybody has heard it. If your dreams do not scare you, like, hey, I did this mini session in a coaching. See, I was coaching a group of ladies, right? And I said, okay, who wants to volunteer themselves? Let's do a mini dream expansion exercise. And someone donated herself. And the next thing, I'm like, she doesn't have any dreams. She can't really think of anything right now. She's just doing what she needs to do to get by. Then I go, what was that thing that you used to really love saying or doing when you were like 10, 8, that everybody just say, is it this person? This is what you will not let us rest. Then you need to have heard her voice. It was so tiny. She was like, when I was younger, I wanted to be the president of the World Court. If she's here, she'll start laughing because she knows that I'm using her story as evangelization. She was like, I want to be the president of the World Court. I was like, so good. What's stopping you?
Wow.
She was like, this is someone who was speaking very confidently. The next thing she just went, she was like, you could tell that the dream, that's even voicing it.
Was scary.
Her whole everywhere was shaking. It was scaring her. But let me blow your mind. This was the 2nd class out of 4 classes. By the 4th class, in fact, by the end of that 2nd class, she said she went back to her mom, to her family group, and said, guys, I'm back on track. This is what we are gunning for. And she told her mom to always remind her. So her mom now calls her president.
I love it.
My president.
I love it.
She's taking action.
I love it.
She has written her goals. She's taking her first step this year.
Yes.
She's writing. She's currently doing her PhD. But my point here is, you can take that thing that scares you and see, we are children of God. We are co-heirs. We have authority. Your dream is scaring you. Write it down on paper. That dream will cease to scare you. It gives you authority over it. If you don't write it down, you don't have authority. Your brain will be playing tricks on you. Who has done that thing before where you are imagining something in your eyes, and then the day you see it, you're like, is it just this? Same. Bring your dreams to reality.
Remember the dream I shared with you 2 days ago?
Yes, I do.
It was amazing.
I do.
That, we've been talking about it for some months, and it's been looking so vague, so impossible. And, the more you'd share your progress, I'll be like, hey, God. I'll be like, it was almost like a God when moment. I say, hey, God, if he's going, when? But I'll tell you what changed for me. I went for a retreat. I told you about the retreat I went for at the beginning of September.
Yeah.
And the one thing I got from that retreat was a clarity. I immediately understood what was going on with me. I was scared. It was a fear of, I will never be able to do that. And as soon as I just removed that fear, I think that was people were getting big things or big dreams from that. I was so scared. They're like, this one that I got is phenomenal.
It's the dream of the season.
It's phenomenal because it was stopping me from bigger things. So the minute I just removed my eyes from that thing, that fear of that's fear of funding, fear, where would the money come from? And that was the one thing I got. Like, you say you are living in abundance, but yet you are what was the word?
You are thinking in former mentality.
Addicted to scarcity. That was the word.
Yeah.
I say, Father, Lord. I started crying. I said, see my life in the main road. And the minute I just said it, that I am not addicted to scarcity, what the heck? Who is that? That's not me. The minute I remove my mind from it, I start to see possibilities. And that is how easy it is once you write it down. As I started to write, it started to come out. I was like, I'm actually very resourced.
Wow.
That they said to me,
and it's not about money sometimes.
The resources. I had resources. I had places where I could farm to bring out money. I had places to farm, and they were always there. They've been with me for years, but I just never took advantage of them. And the minute I started to think like, okay, I needed to raise this amount of money to raise this thing, I started to look beyond the normal, and I started to find them. And there's something about fixing your eyes on something, and the universe has to work for you. Hey.
And your reticular activator starts to also work for you.
It has to work.
Again, I tell this. Yes,
every time you
your brain
find a thing and you decide you're going to do this, your brain just starts to give you evidence for that thing that you said you would do, and it just starts to come. It just starts to come.
Those things you walk past and you don't notice, you start to notice them because they are in line. I'll tell you a funny story. My son is going to be 10 soon, and he wants a Man City themed party for a few of his friends. And so I got to know, who his best player is, Haaland. Guess what? For the past 2 weeks, since we had that conversation.
Haaland.
Everywhere I go now, Haaland.
Never heard of it.
Haaland. Why?
Like, where have you been?
It's a scientific thing. It's a scientific thing. You see this brain of yours, eh? Your brain is created to protect you from everything and even from yourself. So it has something called the reticular activator.
Yeah.
Those of you who are doctors, scientists, you people know this word. And it's, in very simple terms, it's the filter for the brain. It's what prevents you from feeling everything at the same time, seeing everything all at the same time. You know, you see things in your peripheral vision, you see things. It depends on what your mind is focusing on. So I use this example. They've probably been talking about Haaland everywhere, but go hear me because it's not my business. It's my business. So even if I'm looking at the television and I'm seeing one blonde guy, my brain will say this doesn't concern you. Next, maybe I'll be seeing the other thing next to the blonde person. But now it's a matter of interest because we're going to do some small props. My son has talked about him. And so when my brain sees that name, it will say, hey, let's see, what does this person look like? This is what it looks like. And that is what it is with your dreams and your future and your purpose. That is why it is critical that you dream wide and you put it down.
It down
From
is everything.
We talked about it from the spiritual part. Now we're talking about it from the scientific part. You put it down. Pretend as if you are going to achieve it today. Write it down. Write all the things you already know about that dream. Right? Don't just be casual. I want to be a Nobel Prize winner. Go and research. What do Nobel Prize winners do? How do they get there? What is this? What is that? Even if it sounds ridiculous to everybody. And again, please be careful who you share your dreams with.
Yeah.
There are some people who are not in the same season with you. They will bring you down. Dream killers. And the thing is, it's not that they set out to kill your dream. They're just not in that space. They're not in that space. So be mindful. Be prayerful about your dreams. But pursue those dreams with the seriousness as if they